Homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Mang Liaoming. Homage to Master Sakya Zhengkong. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Dukden Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. And homage to the main deity of Homa today, Chintamani Avalokiteswara, the white robe Avalokiteswara Bodhisattva with wish-fulfilling money jewel. Simu, Tansen Katso, Tutan Siddhi, all Dharma Masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, all disciples present here and over the internet. Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do?
I stay. Hola amigo, que quiero mucho. Sukoin, ichiban, kimochi, Jimmy, Yappy, Bling, Konnichiwa.
First, I would like to announce for next Sunday, June 6th, June 6th, Sunday at 3 p.m. At the Rainbow Temple in North Bend, Washington, we will perform the hiking Guan Yin Bodhisattva Homa fire offering ceremony. And for the hiking Guan Yin, for myself, when I was 26 years old, the abbot of the Jade Emperor Temple by the Dharma named Si Huiling, he gave me a sutra, and the sutra was the hiking Guan Yin Sutra, Gao Wang Guan Si Yin Jing, or Gao Wang Guan Si Yin Zhen Jing. He gave me a sutra called the hiking Guan Yin Sutra. And when I got home, I started to chant the sutra when I was 26. So ever since, I've been chanting that sutra until now. I never stopped. And the first statement in the hiking Guan Yin Sutra is Gao Wang Guan Si Yin Bodhisattva. And next Sunday, we will perform the hiking Guan Si Yin Bodhisattva, or hiking Avalokiteswara Bodhisattva.
延延，
So the
很深的延延，这一尊观世音菩萨跟
the affinity and the origin was far and deep. So hiking Guan Yin Bodhisattva and True Buddha School have a very deep and profound
这
affinity.
尊菩萨也是观世音菩萨的系统。
So this Bodhisattva belongs to the Avalokitesvara system.
他戴的冠特别不一样，
And
他戴的是
the
七
crown that he's wearing is very different. It's the crown of the past 7 Buddhas.
千国
So the past 7 Buddhas and the future 1,000 Buddhas of the Bhadrakalpa.
这本经典最后，
So at the end of the sutra is the karma eradication mantra of the 7 Buddhas.
这尊观世音菩萨，
So this Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva,
我第一次看到他的金身，
the first time I saw the statue
山
of the hiking Guan Yin was at the Sun Yi in
这
Taiwan.
个佛具店
There were many Buddhist shops there,
是高王
And
观世音，
there was a statue of the hiking Guan Yin
非常
Bodhisattva,
庄严，
extremely
非常庄严的
majestic and dignified,
威灵显赫，而且我特别
very
喜欢他的
magnificent.
能灭生死苦，
I especially admired the phrase can eradicate
生也
the suffering of birth and death. There's no suffering at birth and no suffering at death.
大部分来
That
讲，
death would be the best.
我们都忘掉了。
Because typically we forget about the suffering of birth and death. We forgot about the suffering of birth because we still could not remember.
生苦我们都忘掉了，
So we have forgotten about the suffering of birth.
就很难忘。
But it's difficult to forget the suffering of death
死前之苦，
or moments before death.
但是这一本经
It's difficult to forget the suffering of moments before
能
death.
灭生死苦，
But inside the sutra,
死苦
when I saw that it can eradicate the suffering of birth and death, so I thought I had to chant the sutra because the suffering of death is extreme.
既然能灭生苦、生死苦，
The suffering of moments before death, of dying.
消除诸
And because it can eradicate the suffering of birth and death, we have to chant it. And then it can also eliminate all kinds of harms.
因为人跟人
If someone wants to harm you, because between people, frankly speaking,
很难相处，
it's very difficult to get along.
真正能够当成你的闺蜜，
To be able
当成你的密友，
to become
能够
your
知心的。
soulmate
我们常常讲，
or
相识满天下，
best friend.
能
We
够
often say that we know many people all over the world, but how many of them you can
能够真正
be heart to heart, that you can place your heart at that person's? How many of them do you have? It's difficult. We can have many acquaintances, but true friends or soulmates are extremely difficult. Most people harm each other.
你害我，或者就是我害你。
You harm me or I harm you, and they don't get along.
这个高王观世音有讲，
But the hiking
毒害
Guan Yin did say that it can eradicate all kinds of poisons and
一切
harms.
毒害 都会消除。
all of harms and hurts can be eradicated. So just based on these two statements, I've been chanting it to my best, to my utmost.
不过事实上这一生啊，虽然有很多的挫折。
So, but in reality, in this life, although I encounter lots of adversities and difficulties, but I still pass them through with safety, that nobody could harm me. True. There is the real case, and I didn't lose anything. So the hiking Kuan-Yin Sutra and hiking Kuan-Yin Bodhisattva, you want to create connection with him and you want to often chant his sutra. And next Sunday will be the Homa of this hiking Avalokitesvara or hiking Kuan-Yin Bodhisattva. I don't wish to tell everybody to become primary supplicants every time, but by hearing so many benefits and you don't become primary supplicants, that would be a regret of lifetime. Because if you have affinity with him, he would help you to eradicate all harms and hurts and to eradicate the suffering of life and death. So it truly is worth it. And today we perform the Chintamani Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. The white robe Avalokitesvara with blissful filling money jewel. And his mudra is the Lotus Mudra. And above his head, or the head, it's a hair made like a lotus. And her hand is holding the wish-fulfilling jewel, and the other hand is the wish-bestowing mudra. So this Avalokitesvara is to fulfill the wishes of people. That's why it is termed the wish-fulfilling jewel. And you form this mudra, the Lotus Mudra. It looks like a lotus that opens, and you visualize she's right in front of you wearing white robe, and one of her hands holding the money jewel, the other hand is the wish fulfilling. And the money jewel is on your palms. And your wish will appear from the Lotus Mudra of your palms. Purification, enrichment, magnetization, and subjugation. So whatever you wish for will appear inside your palms. And by performing her practice, it is said that it would give response within 1 month. So fast in 1 month, that's quite shocking. And her mantra, Om Kala Fato, Kala Fato, Kala Fato,
拉嘎法多，拉嘎法多，Om， 节制，节制，节制，说哈。这白衣大师的神咒，白衣大师如意宝珠的神咒。
That's the heart mantra or divine mantra of the white robe, this fulfilling jewel. And the white robe Kuan Yin mantra. Namo, the great compassion Avalokitesvara who is still suffering and is immediately responsive. Namo Buddha, Namo Dhamma, Namo Sangha, and Namo saving the suffering Avalokitesvara. Tansuto Anja Lufato, Jalufato, Jahufato, Lojafato, Lojafato, Sopo. The celestial deities, the earth deities of protecting from suffering, guarding the body, all calamities transform into dust. Namo Mahaprasna Paramita. When I still did not know anything, I also chanted this white robe Kuan Yin mantra for a long time. So at her crown there's a lotus hairdo that looks like a lotus and wears white celestial garments, and the right hand is holding the money jewel and the left hand is in the wish fulfilling mudra. And this deity came from the body cultivation venue, one syllable crown chakra sutra. And the Chintamani tantric practice is if you practice it for 1 month, then you would gain riches and nobility. Wow, 1 month, that's really fast. Did anybody ever practice it? And you get lots of riches and nobility. Wow, 1 month is fast. May is gone. Very fast. In a flash, it'll be June. Another 4 weeks. Another 1 month. You would obtain prosperity and great fortunes. How come the primary supplicants are not many today? I think our disciples are practicing purity. Talking about money and prosperity, they don't want it. So you're all high adepts with high realms of spiritual cultivation. So spiritual cultivators don't necessarily request wealth and lots of riches, so they just come and go according to the destiny. My gurus told me that when I get into the society, I should never open my mouth and set a price or ask for money. So I don't have much all my life, and I never borrow, or I am not in debt. And because I never ask for money, people give money automatically. So I don't lack anything either in this life. My birthday is on June 27th.
农历是 May 18.
It's the 18th of the 5th lunar month, and this year it happened to be on the same day.
这一生只能够碰到2次。
That in all my life it can only happen twice.
在今年的时候，
Very interesting. This year,
农历跟阳历
the lunar calendar and the Gregorian calendar are on the same
我
day
先就问我，
for my birthday this year.
女儿问我，
So my daughter, Fo-Ching, asked,
爸爸需要什么？
what do you need
买给你。
for your
他
birthday?
要买给
On your birthday,
你，需要什么？
she's going to buy it for
我想，
buy it for me. And I was
我这
thinking,
句话说，哎，爸爸，
she asked me, Dad, what do you need? I will buy it for you.
佛亲跟我讲，
Ho-Ching told me,
这个我在那边想了好久，
and I thought about it for a long time.
真的想了半天，
I really thought about it a long while.
我需要什么？
What is it that I need?
结果我居然知
And
道吗？
do you know,
居然想不出我
I
需要
could
什么。
not think of what I need.
想了半天，我没有办法回答。我知道
So
我回答
I couldn't give the answer after thinking about a long
你老
time.
爸
So I give her, your dad does not need anything.
真的什么都不需要。
Really, I don't need anything.
我还跟他讲了一句话，
And I also told her,
我什么都有，
I have everything.
我还需要什么？
What is it that I need?
真的什么都有，
Really,
需要什么？我
I have everything. I don't need anything. I don't lack anything.
所以一个人啊，当你什么都不需要的时候啊，
When a person does not need anything
活得
anymore,
很清闲，
then you live
活得很快乐，
very light and easy, happily,
休息
with gratitude, and practicing every day. That's about it.
再来呢，
And then,
这个等到有一天要归天的时候，
when one day it's time to return to heavens, I would still be very happy.
大概就是这样子，
That's probably it.
什么都不需要。
Otherwise, in this life, I don't need anything.
这个如意宝珠，你们需要的
The wish fulfilling jewel. If you need
有
it,
它，
you can pray to her and practice it the best you can.
在还没有说法之前，
Before the Dharma teaching,
我捡来
let me share a joke. I pick up an elegant
愿
lamp
在我死之前，
and I wish that before death I would be able to find a girlfriend.
结果呢，
And the result,
到了永生。
I got an eternal life.
死之前，
Before death,
这个小宝到小明家去玩，
Xiaobao went to
小
Xiaoming's
宝突然
house
想上厕
to
所，
play, and Xiaobao wanted to use the bathroom and asked Xiaoming,
借我一用，
can I borrow your bathroom for a
借
bit?
走了，
And Xiaoming said,
家
no,
就没有厕所。
because if you borrow my bathroom, then we have no bathroom.
这个笑话就是笑话。
It's a joke.
在泰国的餐馆工作，
Working at the Thai
老板
restaurant,
要求每次
the
开门的
boss
时候
asks
要
that
双手
when you open the door, you have to join your palms and say Sawadika.
有次有客人来，
And one time there's a customer coming in, and I opened the door and joined my palms, and I blanked out,
脑袋一热，
forgot to say what to say, so instead I said Amitabha.
念佛要紧啊！
It's important to chant the Buddha.
现在进行你问我答。
Now we'll do the question and answer.
莲花
From Malaysia,
贤
Lianhua Zi Xian,
敬礼师佛，十人金刚
homage to the Guru Buddha. Kalachakra has many extraordinary practices. Some fellow disciples said that Kalachakra belongs to the Buddha division.
能否以十人金刚为护法？
So may a sadhaka practice Kalachakra as a protector? If Kalachakra is a root protector,
变法，
and he is a manifestation of Sakyamuni Buddha,
释迦牟尼佛为本尊，
then may the practitioner have Sakyamuni Buddha as his
金
yidam?
刚明王都可以做护法。
Is it the case that all Vajra protectors can be one's
你问
protector?
我答，其实他问的问题就是
You ask and I answer. Actually, he already answered his own question.
十人金刚有很多特别的修持大法，
Kalachakra has many extraordinary practices. Some fellow disciples said Kalachakra belongs to the Buddha division.
能否以十人
So
金刚
may a practitioner practice
如果
Kalachakra
以
as
十
a
人金刚
protector?
为根本护法，
If Kalachakra is a root protector and he's a manifestation of Sakyamuni Buddha,
释迦牟尼佛为本尊，
may he have Sakyamuni Buddha as his yidam?
明王都可以
Is it the case that all Vajra protectors can be one's protector?
这个回答很简单，
The answer is very simple.
护法跟本尊是相关联的。
Protector and
你
yidam
本
are
尊
interrelated.
释迦牟尼佛
If your yidam is Shakyamuni Buddha
护法呢，
and your protector can be Kalachakra, that would be fine.
当
Because we know
山法会的时候，释迦牟尼佛
at
一
the
面在
Ling
顶山
San ceremony,
一面放生到了南
Sakyamuni Buddha was giving Dharma teaching there, but at the same time he also manifests himself at the South India,
米具塔
at the Jixiang Mijita,
显化了十人金刚，
and transformed
向叶贤国王
Kalachakra and give Dharma teaching to
那十人金
the
刚
King Yi Xian.
是释迦牟尼佛本身所化，
So Kalachakra was emanated by
本身
Sakyamuni
释迦
Buddha.
牟尼佛
So the yidam, Sakyamuni Buddha,
当然是
and protector as Kalachakra as protector, of course, they would be interrelated.
然后每尊金刚明王可以做护法吗？
So
是不是每
Does
尊金刚
each
明王
Vajra protectors and Vidya Rajas can be protectors?
我们一
Yes.
般来讲，悟佛化为悟
Generally, we say that the 5 Dhyani Buddhas transform or emanated the 5 Herukas. Then the 8 Vidya Rajas or wisdom kings
化身为
were emanated by the 8 great
而我在
bodhisattvas.
彩虹结藏时的
So at the Rainbow Temple,
金刚明王殿
when I went to the
大威德金刚，
Heruka and Vidyaraja Hall, I paid homage to Yamantaka. I paid homage to the 5 Herukas and to the 8 Vidyarajas, and homage to all the protectors and devas, devis. That's what I chanted when I visit the Heruka Hall. So the 8 great Bodhisattvas has the 8 Vidyarajas, and the 5 Dhyani Buddhas have the 5 Herukas, or emanated or transformed into the 5 Herukas, and the 8 great Bodhisattvas into the 8 Vidyarajas, or wisdom kings. So each of the Vidyaraja and Herukas can be a protector. First question. Second question. In the practice of white bones visualization, should we practice it until we have no more biological reaction, nor erection towards opposite sex to be considered successful? I found that this white bones visualization is to divert my sexual attraction to the white bones, but I won't feel disgusted by beauties. Would this be enough? Or should I reach a point that I feel loathsome in order to succeed? For us who are still cultivating the preliminaries, is this the only way to counter sexual attraction? That we cannot practice the other kinds of methods in Tantrayana, which is to utilize desire to cultivate spiritually? Are you clear about the question? About his questions? You understand, right? So what he meant was that he wanted to use the white bone visualization to transform. When he encounters a beautiful lady, he treats her as white bones. So not seeing the flesh, but only white bones or skeletons. So the sexual attraction would lessen. And the problem is, you visualize the beautiful lady to be a skeleton, and the skeleton develop flesh and blood. So see, Taiwanese say, it's white and soft and smooth and silky. Even heroes cannot resist the temptation of beauties. And that is the case. How do other people pass this temptation? In reality, it is extremely difficult. And for Grandmaster, strangely, now I have trained to a level, myself personally, I am able even when together with the beautiful lady, I can close my eyes and not looking.
我也能够
And I'm also able
持咒，
to chant
能
mantra
够念经，
and chant sutra.
我能够持咒，也能念经，
So I can chant mantra, chant sutra.
而且我
And
还
moreover, I'm also
给人拿
able,
钱，
in front of a beautiful lady, I can do my Dharma practice.
我还能够修法，
I can do my Dharma practice.
而且不动声色。
And unaffected.
我也搞不清楚我是怎么修的。
So I don't know how I practiced it.
到现在为
So
止，
up till now,
我本人就是我讲过了，我是无漏真，无漏真，
and I've said that I am the non-leaking
我就开就已经就无漏了。
yogi. And starting in my 40s, I stopped leaking.
有漏戒动。如果
In the sutras, it's mentioned that if you are leaking, you're leaking the white body, then you would have downfall. You would fall into hells.
有漏，
Look at the lamas. How many of them are leaking?
有的是
They bear children.
没
Even
生的孩子，
the great Rinpoches,
有漏才会生孩子。
they have children because they are leaking. Because if they don't leak, they will not have children.
孤阴也不生啊，
So you will not bear children if you strengthen your yang or
为什么会
yin.
生孩子？
Why would they have children? Because you are
生
leaking.
孩子。
Because they are
大活
leaking.
佛有好几个大活佛，
Even the great Rinpoches
随便举一举，
in the modern day, many of them,
他们都是有漏。
it's easy to find
师
them.
尊修道
They're all leaking.
根本就
But Grandmaster
无漏。
never leaks.
现在啊，变成想漏都漏不了。
And now I'm at the stage that even if I want to leak, I cannot. Because non-leaking.
怎么修的？
How did I practice? Naturally.
我看到美女，我也不会说
When I see a beautiful lady,
把她看成
I will not
把她看成这个全身
disdain her or treat her as a skeleton or rotten flesh.
这样子，把它看成白骨了，看成
I
全
wouldn't
身
do.
那个虫在爬或怎么样子。
Or having
当然，
bugs crawling all over her. I don't do that anymore. But of course, in the beginning, I transformed. But that later on, I
变成没
don't
有
need to. I have no
长得
specific
也是一样，
reaction. Doesn't matter how beautiful they are.
表面上很好看，
Women
穿起衣服来，
sometimes look beautiful
贵的衣服，
on the surface, and some wearing noble garments or with a beautiful figure and slim and
不一定好。
petite. They look nice, but they are not necessarily nice,
身材好，
not
脸好
necessarily good.
明明
Good figure,
长得，
fair and white skin, smooth and silky,
但是你知道啊，
looks like a fairy goddess, but do you know, they're still dirty.
我这个人啊，我的这个
I myself, my body,
最敏感，
there's one
最敏感的
place
地方就是我的鼻子，
that's very sensitive,
非常好。
and that's my olfactory sense. My olfactory sense is very
你是
acute.
很漂亮，但是我
And
维秀，
Beautiful lady, but but with the smell, oh no, oh no.
真的就没有欲望了。
Then the desire is gone.
所以我觉得是这样子的。以贪的修行方法。
The spiritual cultivation of utilizing desire to control the desire, that's a dual body consort practice. Like he said, he cannot practice that. And you practice it until eventually you become numb. Nothing. That's for me. But how about other people? White bone visualization, or visualization of a rotten body, that's all for diversion. That's fine. And Grand Master's smell sense is very sensitive. If a woman is not clean, I can sense it, I can smell it. And I have no more desire. So this method is right. You just divert your attention. But not necessarily, because there are a lot of men that's cornies. But I don't think so. I think women, many women pigs. We cannot say pigs, but we can say hogs. So not only the men are hornies, but women too. They have desire. Their desire is toward bliss of a moment, but then they suffer for a long time. This is joke. A boss had a relationship with the female co-worker and got pregnant. And then the woman asked, so how do I notify? And then you should send me a postcard. And you can just say, at the meat noodle, and then I would give the acrimony. And then one day he got a postcard from a woman from Taipei. He was unaffected, and the postcard, when he read it, he fainted, and the wife got him to the emergency. And the doctors told the wife, your husband didn't have any heart problems. How come he fainted and could not stand? I don't know. He just read something on the postcard. And the doctor read, so the meat noodle have 4 bowls, 2 with sausages and 2 without. So be careful. Just a joy of a moment equals suffering, eternal misery. And Nehua Zixue from Malaysia asked the 3rd question. Can a practitioner have tattoos on their bodies before taking refuge? I had some tattoo Now I want to make it into something related to Tantric Buddhism, such as mantra wheels. Would this be disrespectful? If I change it into a Vajra scepter, Vajra dagger, will they repress me? Will it affect my faith? Sure, tattoos. You can take refuge. Don't worry. If you were part of the gang in Taiwan, if you get in jail, the prisoners there would give you tattoo. A dragon, a phoenix, on the feet, body, anywhere. So brothers, brotherhood. But nowadays, tattoos is a form of art. So across Vajra scepter, Vajra dagger, mantra wheel, tattooed on the bodies, that's fine. They're all fine. If you want to have tattoos, go ahead. Because it's a kind of art, in my opinion. It's just an ornament to the body. It doesn't symbolize anything. Or your own girlfriend, your loved one, you tattoo their names on your body, it's fine. Will not affect spiritual cultivation. Yeah, it doesn't matter. And like Grandmaster, Buddhist, like when we made the Bodhisattva laity vows, we had this incense marks, 3 of them here. When I made the Bodhisattva vow in the Pisanyen temple in Chaotun, I had this 3 incense mark, and it stayed until now. I was in my 20s then. It did not disappear. It's a kind of memory of receiving the Bodhisattva vow. Nostalgia. Question by Henry Encore from Singapore. Beloved Grandmaster, thanks for transmitting true Buddha Tantric Dharma. I am currently chanting the 100-syllable mantra, the short version, and dedicate the merits to my karmic creditors, both physicals and formless, and my attached spirits. After chanting, my body feels light and full, but sometimes I feel there is someone chasing after me and make me afraid. I feel that bad things are after me for no reasons at all. Why do I feel this way? Is it because I haven't chanted enough 100-syllable mantra? That's his question, first question. So chanting 100-syllable mantra and dedicating the merits to karmic creditors, sure, that's correct. And you feel that someone's chasing after me and make me afraid? What are you afraid of? No need to be afraid. As a spiritual cultivator, there's nothing they should not be afraid of anything. Last night, when I was sleeping at near daybreak, as I was sleeping, I heard a voice of a woman shouting, crying. Her voice very feminine, and help me, save me, help me, save me. And after I heard it, I told her, okay, at night I will bow to deliver you. It happened this morning. She shouted, cried right in my ears. Nobody is around. I heard her crying out for help. I was all by myself in my bedroom. Nobody. Crying, help me. And her voice was so feminine and attractive. So of course I have to help her and try to deliver her and create a good affinity. That's good. Well, someone's chasing after you, it's fine. Then you dedicate the marriage to him too. You should understand there's nothing to be afraid of. I encounter such things a lot. This knocks and that bangs and the whole house. There's sounds all over the house. Even when I see ghosts, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. Even encountering ghosts. And they extended their tongues really long, and I pulled it. And we can make soup of the ghost's tongue, and the ghost was afraid and ran away. No need to be scared. I'm most scared of human beings, and I'm not afraid of ghosts. Because I was just walking and all of a sudden someone showed up and it just surprised me. But I'm not afraid of ghosts. No need to be afraid. If someone's chasing after you, perhaps is asking something from you, you ask him or her, "What's up? May I help you?"
May I help you?
May I help you? Right? What can I help you with? Don't be afraid. Especially if it's a beautiful lady chasing after me. And chant more the 100 syllable mantra. From Malaysia, Lianhua Xiang Yi. My family clan runs a cemetery business. My questions are, if a lay practitioner borrows money from a Sangha member and doesn't want to pay it back, will he suffer its retribution and bring bad luck upon himself? Yes. A lay practitioner borrows money from a Sangha member and doesn't pay back. You know, this transgression is very heavy. Or a laity takes a Sangha member's belongings, like their clothes or shoes or anything, and take them away. That's very heavy transgression. There would be karma, retribution, karmic retribution. You would have to pay back a lot. The same thing for ordained monks and nuns. 1 grain of rice from the benefactor is as big as Mount Meru. If you don't cultivate spiritually, it's as if your hair are in bondage. A grain of rice from a benefactor is as big as Mount Meru. If you don't cultivate spiritually, your hairs are all in handcuffs or in bondage. all the rice and meals that you eat are donated by the supporters. You don't produce them yourself. So if you don't cultivate spiritually, then your hairs would be in handcuffs. It's the same. You have to suffer its retribution. So if someone make offering to you, you don't cultivate spiritually, you don't return to them, you don't bestow fortune to them, and you don't practice yourself, then in the future, you would have handcuffs all over your body. You would become the horse, the cows, to repay in the future. So it doesn't want to pay back money borrowed from Sangha member. That would be horrible. Definitely have to suffer the karma. If you borrow money, you definitely have to return. That's in the precepts. It's in the precepts, all this. An ordained person accepts offerings from sentient beings is because they earn it by performing ceremonies big or small. But if they spend the money on deities, but not his parents or family, is it okay? Because some ordained persons wants to invite deities for dinner or picks up the bills, then the fellow disciples are so scared and didn't want it. We often encounter this dilemma. Of course, Grandmaster is different. Grandmaster is Buddha. Is the Vajra of great fortune. Grandmaster bestows upon sentient beings. Please advise. Wish you stay in samsara to turn the great Dharma wheel. So you calculate it. If someone invite a Sangha member for dinner, that's an offering. If a Sangha member invites a laity for dinner, that's bestowing fortune. Like I am a monk, I'm an ordained person, and I invite just lay practitioners for meals, that's bestowing fortunes upon them. So it's mutual, and you need to calculate them, and who is owing whom. You have to calculate it clearly. So if an ordained person uses his money on laities, then the laities should cherish and appreciate such fortune even more and cultivate spiritually and dedicate the merits to all sentient beings. That would be proper. That's asked by Lian Hoa Xiang Yi from Malaysia. Now we will expound on Lamdre. Suchness verification. Suchness verification arises on the mind. The verse, in quotes, the 8 noble path factors of suchness verification, end quote. The so-called noble is the 5 wisdoms, and the 8 factors are the cause to transform the 8 consciousness, as in the verse, purifying the 8 consciousness, to transform alaya vijnaya, storehouse consciousness, to become the mirror-like wisdom, to transform mula vijnana, base consciousness, to become the wisdom of equality, to transform mind consciousness, to become the wisdom of observation, to transform the 5 root consciousness, to become the wisdom of all accomplishment, to prove the renunciant as the Dharma realm wisdom. This is clear. The point here is to transform. We transform the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind which is the alaya, the consciousness,
很大的智慧。
to transform into the great
这里讲
wisdom.
的八正道支的正，
The 8 noble path factors.
八支是它的因，
Noble is the 5 wisdom.
转化八
8
支
factors are the cause.
眼耳
Transform the 8 consciousness
意
for the eyes, ears, nose,
爱
tongue,
呀，就是
body, mind, and the root of the mind, which is
转化八
alaya.
支
That's for 8
转
consciousness.
化阿赖耶识为大圆净智，
So purifying the 8 consciousness is to transform alaya, vijnana, storehouse consciousness to become mirror-like wisdom, to transform mula, vijnana, base consciousness to become the wisdom of equality, to transform mind consciousness to become the wisdom of observation, and to transform the 5 root consciousness to become the wisdom of all accomplishment.
离开人间
To
的
prove the renunciant as the Dharma realm wisdom. So to renunciate the game and play of the human world is the Dharma realm wisdom. The verse in quotes to prove 2 fruits, end quote.
为空解
In the half ground, the wave of congealing the right attachment is the liberation door to emptiness, and the wave of congealing the left attachment is the liberation door of no vows. So what are the liberation door to emptiness and the liberation door to no vows? And what is the half ground?
其中的半地
The half ground of the 12 and a half ground.
解脱门，
That's the liberation door to emptiness and the liberation door of no vows.
你们看了就知道，
What's in the liberation
就
path?
不愿解脱门，
Then you would know what
可以查得出来。
they are, the liberation door to emptiness and the liberation door of no vows. You can find it in the sutras. Find them in the sutras.
一个是不愿，
2 fruits. One is the liberation door to the emptiness and the other one is the liberation door to no vows.
真如愿相现其心
At the former half ground of the ultimate 13 grounds, the suchness verification appears on the mind as in the verse in quotes, the great earth joy, end quote.
本师圆满成
3,000 earth mother goddesses, etc. At 2 instances, the root guru and myself become Buddhas perfectly, to witness the perfect awakening, to manifest divine mighty power. At the first instance, it is called bliss. At the second instance, it is called joy. And the third instance, it is called pleasant. So when you attain fruitions, 3 phenomena happened.
地的欢喜地不一样，
This is different from the first ground called the ground of joy,
地叫欢喜，
the first ground of bodhisattvahood.
欢喜的心。但
It's
是你到了
where you would generate the mind of joy. It's different from this half ground of the 12 and a
还
half
要
ground,
生活的一个刹那，
where you're about to attain
说
Buddhahood,
出第一个
where
刹那叫做
in instances you would manifest
刹那叫做
the first one. The first instance is called bliss, the second instance joy, the third instance pleasant.
就是
They're all very happy.
喜欢，就是很欢喜，欢喜两个字在一起，但是因为
So bliss,
喜欢
joy,
就是欲
and happy.
地母等以其大喜之笑声
The
为
blissful laughter of Earth Mother Goddess, etc., is referred as the movement of 6 characteristics.
极动等相当知，
Uh,
我也经所
For example, bubbling or rushing in the east and drowning in the west, or bubbling in the west and dissipating in the east, etc. Altogether 6 of them, and movements, extreme movements, and similar characteristics. It's like stated in the Practitioner Sutra. So when you're about to attain Buddhahood, there would be the 6 great trembles. So rushing in the east, dissipating in the west, rushing in the west, dissipating in the east, etc. Why don't you check the 6 great trembles? Sakyamuni Buddha often has this phenomena of the 6 great trembles. The characteristics are like stated in the Practitioner Sutra or Practitioner Sutra. So Earth Mother, Goddess, etc. So it's not just you that's blissful. Right before attaining Buddhahood, all the Earth Mother Goddesses will appear and will speak loudly that you have become a Buddha. And in the sky, there would be 100,000 Dakinis that would tell you that you have attained realization. And on the Earth Mother Goddesses will appear and joyfully tell you. And also the 6 great trembles. The verse includes ferocious noise at the devil's place, end quote. Say the divine transformation of suppressing Mara is like the sound of dangerously falling rocks, tsunami, and other ear-shocking sounds. It destroys the devil's brain, like the sound of cymbals, to subdue the Mara at night. Or it will be explained during the part on incessant path. This incessant path, like the movie. So on the great earth, all the devils would be shaken. You have attained Buddhahood. Even the devils and the devils' palaces would tremble, and the Mara would be scared too. Even the Maras would be scared of you becoming a Buddha. Once you have attainment, all the Maras would be scared. And they would be trembled. The Mara's palace too would be trembling like the earthquake. The verse in quotes, at the place where the mudra is born, one sees the 3 realms, end quote. During Buddha Mother's puja of the 12th ground mother, 12th Earth Mother Goddess, amidst the light drops of the great purity proportion, there is no differences between all the Dharma of rebirth and nirvana, broad or narrow. They are all the same. The indiscriminate interest of seeing all the seeable and see all the Dharma of rebirth and nirvana is referred as the minor wisdom. So everything is all mixed. The purity proportion. When you reach the 12th ground, Earth Mother Goddess and Buddha Mother's puja of the 12th ground, at the place where the mudra is born, one sees the 3 realms. So amidst the light drops of the great purity proportion, there is no differences between all the Dharma of rebirth and nirvana, broad or narrow. They are all the same. It's about the yoga of one taste. Rebirth and nirvana are of one taste. Rebirth and nirvana are one taste. The indiscriminate interest of seeing all the seeable and see all the Dharma of rebirth and nirvana is referred as the minor wisdom. When you're about to become a Buddha, you would be able to see many things to be of one taste. Many things are one taste.
就要很长的时间。什么是因为
？To explain this one taste, it will take a long time.
也没有臭，
So no
也没有
fragrant
没有
or foul,
轮回，
no good, no bad, no rebirth, no nirvana. Everything is one taste.
这是这一段啊。
That's this peace.
此时其他功德差别现起
At this time, the other differences of merits will arise on the mind. As in the verse,
是内
Dakinis
来集者，
gather from far.
处之界尽分，
At this time, the inner Dakini gather from far
殿内
would see
空行眼来集，
the beauty proportion at all the channels
报身
by the 10 fathers and mothers to gather at the central channels, the inner
大
palace.
家讲成佛的时候啊，所有空行
And then you can accomplish the emanation of the Namanakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Dhammakaya. When you attain the Buddhahood, that all the Dakinis will appear in the sky and all will tell you that you have
外空行
attainment.
显现在虚空，
You have attained
跟你
the
讲，你
way.
已经成道。
The outer Dakinis will appear in the sky and would tell you that you have attained fruition. And the inner Dakinis inside your body will gather too
跟你讲，
and tell you that you have attained the fruition.
内外空行都跟你讲。
So the outer and inner Dakinis will all tell you that you have attainment.
所
You
以
have attained Buddhahood.
化身所谓的
So Nirmanakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Dhammakaya, they're all of one taste too. That's all for today. Om Mani Padme Hum.